competitive level stuff. This isn't going to be like a combo guide teaching you how to do combos. I'm mainly just going to go over what custom moves you should use with Geras and show some tech that I might not have shown before. Most of the tech is on my channel just scattered out, so in this video it'll all be put together for the most part. So with that being said, let's just get right into the video. Quicksand, easily one of Geras' best moves. It helps him get in on zoners, has good Oki and an easy KB. It's pretty much essential to use. Almost every Geras has it. Gauntlet of Ages, easily the worst move he has. It makes Geras more unsafe and have more gaps since it replaces regular Gauntlet. It's really only for swag and has a +3 on block restand unless they floss block attack you out of it. Bed of Spikes, replaces the command grab but gives you the most damage and has good Oki. It makes his up 2 game scarier too since he hits harder. Only downside is having to use regular throws versus people that block, which can get down 2 KB. Shifting Sands, easily the most complicated move to use. It takes a lot of time, experience, and memorization to master this move. Some moves like Sub-Zero slide or stuck, but some special moves ignore the Shifting Sands. Knowing which moves work and don't work against it is a lot to remember. It can create combo routes that aren't normally possible. It can also create some cool setups. This restand setup brings you next to your opponent. It's good against characters without 6 frame down ones. If you're facing a 6 framer, you can try to floss block their poke. You can try to trick your opponent into jumping your tick throw and punish them. This setup's pretty tricky to escape. In neutral, you can get some strange situations to happen against strings and normals and can possibly punish them, but could also work against you on your punishes because they could get sucked away from you. This is the aspect that takes a lot of time to master, knowing when and what will happen. Sand Clone. Sadly, this move can't be paired with Bed of Spikes, but this move can do a lot of things. It's more straightforward to use compared to Shifting Sands. It's decent for getting in on zoners, good for running away, good for pressure whether it's from the restand or detonating it for the plus frames, or even on Oki to cover wake up options. It's difficult, but you can jail stand 1 after the restand. You're guaranteed a forward 2 after the restand and after the detonation, assuming they don't floss block attack you. You can also get a free throw attempt assuming they don't duck or jump. This is a situational thing, but with Shifting Sands you can get this tight conversion from even farther than normal since Shifting Sands keeps them from launching backwards. This is just against Jackie's leap as an example. She got launched higher obviously because she leaped and got anti-aired, but the concept still applies. Reverse Time, a complicated move to understand and also pretty difficult to use. If I remember correctly, mechanically this move rewinds what you did in the last 4 seconds, I think. For example, the Geras special, the idea is to run away for about 4 seconds and go in and fatal blow, then teleport yourself back to full screen to try to make yourself safer or safe. You can do this with other moves too, like command grab. It's actually an OS for the command grab. If it lands, then reverse time won't come out. If it misses, then you'll reverse time. This move in my opinion hurts you more than it helps. Most of the time you'll always get punished using it. You're not always in full control of the outcome after using it. Your best bet of using it is out of combos against characters with far corner carry. It's essentially a more punishable breakaway that regenerates health, but that's assuming you don't get punished. It costs 2 slots, so it hurts your loadout. It can get stuffed during the animation, so be careful on the timing. It's a fun move to use though. Stepping it back. This move sadly doesn't do too much, especially for being a 2-slot move. It's really only good for pressure, Oki, or mind games, but it's sadly very meter intensive, burning through your bar very fast. Forward 3 stepping it back is the main normal to use since it's +3 on block, and can be +7 while also launching in the corner. Forward 3 has 5 active frames, so you can make it +1 by hitting the later frames. With stepping it back it can be +7. These are some combos you can confirm on hit with stepping it back. Sand Pillar. This move has a lot of uses. The regular version is good for extra damage and combos. Burst big bodies, aka Shao Kahn, Jax, Spawn, Raiden, Robocop, Kotal, Shiva, Terminator, Geras, Collector, and Fujin. You can do 4-2-1-2 Pillar into Sand Trap, which is more meterless damage than normal off of 4-2-1-2. It's also good for projectile trades and anti-iron opponents, but it's on the weaker side, so you lose most damage wars versus projectiles. And its hitbox is small, so sometimes it doesn't hit aerial or grounded opponents depending on their position and hitbox. The amplified version is good for setups, trapping opponents anywhere on the screen, and can create tick throws that normally aren't possible. It's easily the most fun move to use in my opinion. Other things to keep in mind is if you use better spikes, be aware of the guaranteed damage you can get. Usually with the better spikes, the go-to launcher is choke, but if your opponent breaks ASAP, then you can get more guaranteed damage off of 3 down 2s with temporal advantage. Instead of doing choke into down 2, this can be crucial in round or game-winning situations. If your opponent is in the 30 health range, I would go with temporal advantage combos, especially in last round scenarios, because if they break, then they take more damage, and even if they don't, it's only like 5% less. Another thing you can do against fast breakaway, if you want to show off, is you can do a micro dash forward into stand forward mid sand trap for huge damage, and if they don't break, you're safe and can gain 1 sand trap towards your KB. One thing I felt Geras players forgot to use or sometimes waste is the 4-2 crushing blow. It's really good unbreakable damage, and some people use their fatal blow over this crushing blow. If possible, always use this crushing blow over your fatal blow, because it's like 1% damage less than doing 1-1 fatal blow. I know the fatal blow minigame mechanic plays a role in damage output, but still, use the 4-2 crushing blow over the fatal blow, if possible. There's many ways to land this crushing blow. You can also combo off of it if you trade with the opponent, but you gotta be really quick with this, but it's just something cool to know. One last thing I'll mention gameplay wise is landing the tackle crushing blow. Now this will be kind of hard to explain, but I'll try my best to make it as clear and simple to understand as possible. Notice how the first tackle crushing blows after 4 dashes and being next to Sub-Zero. The third attempt I do 5 dashes and stand next to Sub-Zero and land the crushing blow. The fourth attempt I do 5 dashes, then 1 back dash and still land the crushing blow. I think this is because within the stage there's a sweet spot that has a certain vicinity. It's pretty much between 4 to 5 dashes forward from the start of the match distance. The second attempt didn't crushing blow because I stepped out of that KB vicinity. 4 dashes is the farthest you can crushing blow, while 5 dashes is the closest you can crushing blow. Anything in between the vicinity will crushing blow, but anything outside will not crushing blow. I hope that makes sense. After temporal advantage, you can keep your opponent standing to try to set up the tackle crushing blow. This is hard to calculate, especially in the heat of the moment. It's hard to master in general, but you can try to pick up on indicators to show that you're in the crushing blow vicinity by using the stage. I took screenshots of the locations of the crushing blow vicinities and where you'll land them. If you want to look through them, that's up to you. I just figured it would be helpful. For example, on the bottom right picture in the 6 images, I know it's hard to see because they're all compressed, but this is the best way I can make them while showing them all simultaneously. But in the bottom right picture, you see that Sub-Zero standing next to the spear, so to me that could be an indicator that I'm in the crushing blow distance. So that's just one example of all the stages, and I have screenshots of all the stages and their locations of where you'll land the crushing blow. To end off this video, I wanted to show off this chart I made. It's the variations I used against the roster. Now obviously the whole roster has their own set of customs, and your variation may vary depending on what you're up against and what customs are being used with what character you're facing. But in general, these are the customs that I used versus the roster. And this is just my own personal experience and what I prefer. I don't really think there's a right variation for the whole roster because there's just too many customs to cover. So I feel like it just depends on the player and what you value most. So it's totally up to you what if you want to try my variations versus these specific characters. But do what makes you most comfortable. This is just my own opinion. I just thought it would be a good idea to share. I hope this video was helpful. I tried my best not to reuse too much tech from past videos, but sadly with how MK11 is and how stale it is, I felt like that there wasn't really much else I could bring that's new or brand new. So I tried my best to bring up like new information or not as known information, and this is going to be the last video I make guide wise for MK11 most likely. So I hope it was helpful and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts on the video in the comments. My bad this took so long to make. Like I said, I tried my best not to rehash old information, but I'll see you guys in that next one.